if you are lucky, you live in a town with a traditional hardware store, and if you don't, we have one that's close enough for you to try. I was just saying before the show started, this is more than a hardware store.
Yeah, and while it's traditional, they do some pretty untraditional things also. So here to explain are Jack Schutz from Chagrin Hardware and Molly Gebler from the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you for having us.
So you have some upcoming events.
We do.
But before we get into that, Jack, let's talk a little bit about the history of the store.
Well, it was built in 1857 as a hardware store, so we're 163 years old. Our family, our extended family, has been there since 1920.
Wow.
So we've been there for a while, and it's a family business. We have a sister and a brother.
Now, is that back in 18 whatever you just said?
That picture was about 1880. Wow. And if you look closely in the front window, there's a bear skin that was sold for $4.
Whoa.
$4.
That was
Look at the carriage right there.
That was a centennial celebration in I think possibly 1876. That would have been the centennial. And the building's changed a little bit over the years. We have actually made some improvements, but it's pretty much structurally it's sound.
It is so charming. It is
four floors.
So lovely.
After the Civil War, the Grand Army of the Republic went upstairs, and then the Masons put on the third floor, and they left in I think 1923.
Wow.
So.
Well, for someone who hasn't been, okay, how would you describe the experience, especially if you've only been in, we'll say, other hardware stores, because this is really unlike any other.
Well, probably the biggest difference is that our parents, who started here after World War II, our mother was a history buff, and she wanted to maintain as much of the original atmosphere as possible. So her and my father both would go to estate sales and throughout the area and try to gather as much original material to the 1880s and keep that as an atmosphere for the store, which we still maintain. And and there are several things that people continually come in and want to buy, but they're treasures from our parents. And although I would sell them, my brother and sister will not. So so that's probably the biggest difference.
It is a gem. Treasure's a good word for this place.
Do you ever have people come in and tell you stories about maybe their father, their grandpa, or whoever who used to come to the store?
Well, we've been there. My brother and sister that are still there with me, we've been there since the early 60s. So we've grown up with local people and then we knew their sons, and just yesterday I met a grandson. So we go 3 or 4 generations.
I believe it. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not typical that hardware stores have like pancake breakfasts and fundraisers going on, but this is happening.
It is happening.
So yeah, Molly, tell us about some of the events that are coming up.
Sure. So we're just trying to keep the hardware store relevant during the winter months, which is typically a slower month for any small business. So I met with Steve, Jack's brother, and we just talked about some things to get people into the store. And so we're doing Celebrity Cashier this Saturday, and it is from 10 to 3. And you're going to see people like Elvis Gerbeck, who is an NFL player, former NFL player. Jan Jones used to be on the news years ago. We have the mayor is going to come out. And they're just going to ring you up, and the 20% of that goes to a local charity called Tiger Prep. We're going to do a pancake breakfast on February 23rd.
Is that pancakes with parents?
Pancakes with parents, yes. It's just to promote bringing your kids in and teaching the next generation to shop local. And we're going to do some free, Jack's going to be flipping some Jacks.
And we have all the events up on your television in case you want to jot them down really quick in the times.
Absolutely.
And then how about the lost footage of Chagrin Falls?
So we have some old footage from the streets of Chagrin Falls that hasn't been seen and throughout the hardware store on the 100-year-old floor, which is the newer floor, yes? The older floor is underneath the 100-year-old floor. We'll have screens all over and a projector. You'll be able to come in and enjoy some of the footage with the Schutz family is going to bring some of their treasures, you'll be able to see those as well.
I mean, for people, especially who live in the area, I would just think that this is such a special event to come to and to see the pictures.
Absolutely.
You know,
We're hoping to flood the store,
It'll be
promote them,
flooded.
shop local.
Yeah.
And then our last one is for the fire department. There'll be celebrity cashiering. So we have the local fire department, and then 20% of the day's sales will go to the fire department's renovation project. So, and that's true Schuts family tradition. They are kind-hearted people. I went in and said, let's do this so that we can keep you relevant. And they said, yeah, but we have to give back. And that's just how they are. That's how they are.
awesome.
You can go in and get your paint, and you can go in and pick up an antique. So,
Jack, what's your secret? Because a family business, you know, many watching, maybe you can relate. It's not easy. What has been your success over the years?
Well, you mean my brother's success?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a commitment to the business, which my younger brother has.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much just I'm just there to attract the older people. But
Well, you do a good job.
Yeah.
You're adorable.
One thing Molly didn't mention, that the other two guest speakers I'd like to mention, Ted Batchelor,
Yes.
who is nationally known for setting himself on fire, but he won't be doing that.
Okay,
No,
that's
but-
good.
Yeah, and
Nobody panic.
And then Rob Falls, who's a
Yes.
dear friend of ours, and he's a major mover and shaker in Cleveland now, and he's volunteered his time.
Yeah.
And about the pancake breakfast, do not put the sausage in your pockets.
Just a little tip from the
Yeah,
past.
yeah, I got 4 of them. They just
yeah,
Gotcha.
you've tried that
Yeah, yeah.
before.
See?
Yes.
You don't get this anywhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
This really is about you. We don't want you hurting yourself with
Yeah.
the whole, you know. That's good advice. That's good advice.
Yes.
Well, let's get you all the information.
Okay, so all of the events that we've been talking about take place at Chagrin Hardware, and that's on Main Street in Chagrin Falls. You can call 440-247-7514 or go to cvcc.org.
And let me tell you, no matter which of these events you choose to go to, if it's one or all of them, you could literally make a day of it
Yeah.
in Chagrin
Correct.
Falls
Pancakes.
if you haven't been.
It is.
Really?
It's like visual social media. You know how when you get to
Yeah.
Facebook and you just start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then it's an hour later? That's what it's like to go to the hardware store. You get in there and you just start looking and
so
looking,
true.
and it's an hour later, and you
Yeah.
haven't even scratched the surface of the entire location.
It's a treasure.
It is a treasure. It is a
Right.
treasure.
Continue
We're
legacy.
happy to have them.
Thank
Well,
you so much.
Thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
We look forward to all the events coming up.
This segment of It's About You was furnished by the Chagrin Valley Chamber of Commerce.